Welcome back. Well, the pandemic is a key issue for voters as Americans head to the polls today. Now, taking a look at the latest numbers that we're getting from the pandemic, the outbreak continues to get worse. We have the U.S. reporting more than 84,000 new cases yesterday, bringing that 7-day average that we've been focusing on of new cases to a record high here in the U.S. Anjalee Khemlani has more on this for us. Anjalee.
Thanks, Shauna. Yep, unfortunately, we are seeing those numbers continue to rise at really a quicker clip than we saw earlier in the pandemic. And that is concerning a lot of experts, whether you're talking about those focused on the hospitalizations that are happening, steadily increasing, and with the sheer volume of what's happening across the country, it's far greater, of course, than what we saw earlier when there were just pockets of the U.S. being affected. Right now, it's really large swaths of it. No state is untouched, if you will. And looking at that from that perspective, there's a lot of concern about what is being done in order to help the response this time around. We know that we have seen, generally speaking, a reduction of deaths in hospitals because of increased, or rather better protocols when it comes to the use of things like dexamethasone and proning, and really some decisions on when and how to use a ventilator all have contributed to sort of quicker recovery times. So looking at from that perspective, there still is a strain on things like protective gear and testing in some of these key places. And that is going to be really key in how the U.S. continues to respond as December looms, which, as we heard former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb say, is going to be really the deadliest phase. On that note, Dr. Deborah Birx, who we know is the White House Coronavirus Task Force coordinator, a memo from her being reported as saying that, too much focus has been on not entering a lockdown, but instead, and not on the things that are necessary. Quote, "We are entering the most concerning and deadly phase of this pandemic. This is not about lockdowns." And we know also from Jared Kushner's recording that CNN obtained recently, saying that some of the moves that the president made was really to pull back from the doctors leading this response, and that is what has pivoted, as BARDA has shown us, the investment and focus on vaccines rather than on treatments and testing. So all of that right now, as we're entering this very deadly phase, is of key concern for many health experts.